The day I turned 70, I shocked everyone, including myself. There was no party, no fancy vacation, no extravagant gift. Instead, I did something that made everyone around me stop in their tracks. I gave away nearly half of everything I owned. Clothes, furniture, tools, even my backup toaster. Yes, I had two. The reactions? Exactly what you'd expect. Are you okay? You're really getting rid of that? Some thought I was losing it, but deep down, I'd never felt more clear, more awake. And what happened after I let go? I saved thousands, found peace, and discovered who I really was. Let me show you how it unfolded. Here's the truth. I wasn't just tired, I was drained. Clutter had taken over. Dust, maintenance, boxes that hadn't been opened in 10 years. I was surrounded by things I didn't use and didn't need. And one day, I just knew. It was time. Time to let go. Not just of things, but of the weight they carried. This wasn't a cleanup. This was a turning point, a chance to realign my life around what actually matters. And then, something unexpected happened. I didn't just create space. I felt lighter, emotionally, physically, even spiritually. And looking back now, that choice might have been the best one I've ever made. Let me take you through what happened next. How letting go gave me everything I didn't know I was missing. The moment I realized my stuff was weighing me down, not holding me up. I thought decluttering would be simple. Just toss a few things in a box, clear out a shelf or two. Easy, right? Wrong. The first time I opened my closet, I froze. This wasn't just junk. It was my life staring back at me. My late wife's scarf, still holding the faintest trace of her perfume. My father's rusted wrench set, used for decades, handed down with care. Stacks of birthday cards are from people who aren't here anymore. And every single item whispered to me, if you let me go, you're letting go of them. So I started small. The no-brainer pile. Extra spatulas, shirts with stretched out collars, that awful vase from Aunt Carol. Sorry, Carol. Then I applied what I now call the 1-year rule. If I hadn't used it, worn it, or even thought about it in a year, it was time to let it go. But then I hit the emotional landmines. An old jacket from family camping trips in the 90s. Worn, faded, still full of memories. I sat down on the floor and cried for 15 minutes. But then, I did something radical. I thanked it. You served me well, but my tomorrow doesn't need you. That became my new rhythm. Thank it, then let it go. And here's what changed everything. I realized my old things could become someone else's lifeline. That jacket, it's keeping a homeless vet warm this winter. My spare blender, it's now helping a single mom make breakfast for her kids. Letting go didn't feel like loss anymore. It felt like purpose, like legacy. And with every box I dropped off, something lifted. I could breathe deeper. My home echoed with silence, and I liked it. The clutter was gone, but so was the guilt, the noise, the constant what-ifs. And the wildest part? I didn't feel emptier. I felt fuller, freer, lighter. And if any part of that resonated with you, if you've ever stood in front of a closet, overwhelmed by memories and things you don't really need anymore, then maybe it's time to ask yourself the same question I did. Is this helping me move forward or just holding me back? If you found this story helpful, give it a like. It really supports the channel. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. If you want more honest, real-life stories about simplifying, aging well, and living with purpose. And I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever let go of something that was harder emotionally than you expected? Share your experience in the comments below. I read everyone. Let's keep this conversation going. Ready for the next surprise? That came when I looked at my bank account. The unexpected money flood that came from throwing half my life away. I didn't downsize to get rich. I just wanted freedom from stuff chaos. But oh boy, did my wallet start singing. First, my house shrank on purpose. I traded my echoing 3-bedroom for a sleek condo. Suddenly, my utility bills got cut in half. No more bleeding cash to heat empty rooms or cool forgotten corners. And that $100 a month storage unit I'd mindlessly paid for, 6 years, gone. $1,200 a year, back in my pocket. But the real savings came from the invisible costs I never noticed. Lawn service, canceled. Sold the mower and pressure washer to a neighbor. $100 a month saved. Repairs, fewer rooms, fewer breakdowns, no more $200 handyman calls for clogged gutters. Cleaning, half the square footage, meant half the time and money spent scrubbing. Then came the mind shift. Shopping became a war zone for my wallet's enemies. Holding some gadget in Target, I'd hear my new mantra, do I want to clean, store, and baby this for years? 90% of the time, it went back on the shelf. My impulse buys, obliterated. But the real shocker? My trash became someone else's treasure. That solid oak desk I never used. $400 on Facebook Marketplace. Grandma's china set, still in boxes after 15 years. $1,200 to a newlywed couple. Even my worthless vinyl collection. Funded a weekend with my grandkids. Completely guilt-free. Total haul from selling what I didn't need? Over $3,000. Not life-changing money, but it covered a dental crown, padded my emergency fund, and bought memories instead of clutter. The lesson hit hard. Every object I owned was silently taxing me in dollars, time, and energy. Cutting the clutter didn't just open my floors, it unlocked my cash flow. Up next, how living with less didn't just change my home, it rewired my brain. The radical life upgrade nobody tells you about. Once I cleared out the excess, something unexpected happened. I didn't just make space in my home, I started to breathe easier, inside. At first it was the obvious stuff. I could walk across a room without stepping over boxes. Cleaning took minutes, not hours. No more shifting piles just to find my keys. But then something deeper kicked in. I realized I was living with intention, not reacting to clutter, not drowning in someday items, just being present. Minimalism isn't about empty shelves. It's about clearing noise. Noise that steals your time, your focus, your peace of mind. With fewer distractions, I started doing more of what I actually enjoy. Reading, calling my kids, cooking again, without digging through drawers of junk. And you know what really surprised me? I felt sharper, clearer, like my brain had more room to think. Every item I let go of freed up a little more mental energy. No more guilt over things I should use. No more silent pressure from unfinished projects. One friend walked in and said, "Why does your place feel like a spa?" I smiled, because it wasn't just the space, it was the peace. Here's the part no one talks about. Your stuff doesn't just take up space, it rents a room in your head. Every dusty waffle maker is one more browser tab left open in your mind. Letting go of all that, it felt like closing 100 tabs, all at once. And the bonus? I started finishing things again, sleeping better, feeling less weighed down. This isn't about living out of a suitcase. It's about living on purpose. Minimalism gave me more than a clean home. It gave me back my clarity, my time, and a version of myself I thought I'd lost. And next, let's talk about what happens when other people don't understand your choice to downsize. It gets personal, and sometimes it gets messy. How I downsized without losing my mind, or my mother's rocking chair. I won't sugarcoat it. Downsizing can feel overwhelming, but if you're feeling that tug to simplify, that quiet voice whispering, maybe it's time, my advice is simple. Listen to it. Start small. You don't need to empty your attic in a weekend. You just need a place to begin. For me, it all started with the hallway closet. One Saturday, I opened the door to grab a light jacket and got hit by an avalanche of old linens and dusty holiday decorations. I looked at the mess and thought, half of this I haven't touched in years. Some of it I didn't even remember owning. So I made a deal with myself. Just this closet, that's all. But once I cleared it out, the feeling was addictive. The next day, kitchen drawers. The following week, the garage. Every shelf I cleared felt like a breath of fresh air. Every bag I donated felt like closing a tab in my mind. Then came the emotional stuff. And here's a story that really changed me. I had a rocking chair that belonged to my mother. It had sat in my guest room, unused, for over a decade. I kept it because it reminded me of her, but it was just gathering dust. One day I visited a young single mom from my church. She'd just moved into her first apartment. Her newborn didn't even have a crib yet. On a whim, I offered her the rocker. She teared up, said it reminded her of the one her grandma used to have. That moment hit me hard. That chair wasn't honoring my mom by sitting unused. It was honoring her by being used with love. So here's what I learned. Don't wait for the perfect time. Start with what feels easiest. Take photos of sentimental items before letting them go. Invite family to take what they'll actually use. And most of all, let go of the guilt. You're not throwing things away. You're making space for clarity, for freedom, and for what matters now. Coming up next, let's talk about what happens after the downsizing is done, because the biggest transformation has nothing to do with furniture. Conclusion: the unshakable freedom of letting go. I thought downsizing would feel like loss. I really did. I braced for the hollow ache of absence, the empty shelves, the quiet corners where my things once lived. I expected regret to creep in, whispering, "You shouldn't have let that go." But here's the truth no one tells you. Clutter isn't just stuff, it's silence, stolen. Every overstuffed drawer was a minute lost. Digging for scissors, every just-in-case item in the attic was a quiet lie I kept telling myself. Someday, maybe, later. But one day, I realized I was running out of some days. What happened when I finally let go? My mornings changed. No more frantic searches for keys under unopened mail. Just quiet sips of coffee, sunlight on a clean counter, and room to breathe. My spending slowed. That retail therapy itch, gone. Turns out when you're not drowning in things, you stop craving more. My family noticed. My daughter looked at me one day and said, "Dad, you're lighter." She didn't mean my weight. She meant my energy, the way I laughed more, the way I stayed present without rushing off to clean something. And maybe most powerful of all, I stopped apologizing for my space. No more sorry for the mess, no more shame, just a home that felt like me, not a storage unit for my past. The unexpected gift of less? People assume minimalism is about sacrifice. But what if it's the opposite? I gained time. Hours I once spent scrubbing, I now spend quiet afternoons playing chess with my granddaughter. I gained money, not just from selling things, but from not buying more. I gained focus. At 70, I finally learned the difference between being busy and being alive. And the most surprising part? I thought I'd miss my things. I didn't. Not once. The real shock wasn't what I gave up. It's what I found. Underneath all that clutter, there was me, the man who used to wake up early just to hear the birds sing, who used to write long handwritten letters, who didn't need a full closet to feel worthy. So if you're hesitating, wondering if you'll regret it, if it's too late, if the chaos is just how life is, let me be the proof you need. Start small. One drawer. One quiet, "Why do I even own this?" moment. And when the doubt comes, because it will, ask yourself this: do I own my things, or do they own me? The answer might just shock you too. If this story reminded you of something you've been holding on to, give it a like, and maybe let one thing go today. It helps more people find the peace that comes with letting go. And if you'd like more real-life stories about aging with purpose, living with less, and finding more in the process, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell. We've got more coming, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments.